Hello all my beautiful little unicorns and welcome back to my channel. And if this is the first time that you're on my channel, please allow for me to introduce myself to you. My name is Vanessa Somuayina and I'd like to welcome you into the fam. So guys, today's Pick a Card Tarot reading is all about what's going to be happening in your life within 6 months from now. And this tarot card prediction is indeed a timeless one. So from the moment that you click this video is when your 6-month countdown begins. Before I introduce you to the 4 groups, let's see what affirmation you're meant to receive today. I am worthy of unconditional love. My beautiful babies of the zodiac, if you've recently been questioning whether you are worthy of unconditional love, allow this to be your sign and your affirmation. Repeat it in your head right now. I am worthy of unconditional love. And let this healing feeling and energy spread through your entire body and soul. So right now, I will introduce you to the 4 different groups that I have prepared for you to choose from. I would like you to pick 1 or 2 of these groups intuitively. And once you've chosen your group, you can find the timestamp below in the description box, but also pinned to the top of the comment section. As you can see, each one of these groups is represented by a crystal, but I also added a rune as well as a number for you. So that can help you to pick the perfect group for you. And for these tarot videos, I always recommend that you pick whichever group that you naturally feel drawn towards. Even if for some reason you feel like you shouldn't be drawn to a certain group because it is not your color, your stone, or your number, know that even if you have resistance towards a group, that often indicates that there are messages in this group that are meant for you. All right, you guys, so let's get into it. All right, so group number 1 corresponds to the crystal bismuth. Then we've got the rune called Algiz, as well as the number 3. And don't worry, we'll get into the meanings of the crystals and the runes within your readings. Group number 2 corresponds to the Larimar crystal. Then we've got Pertho, as well as the number 6. Group number 3 corresponds to the Moldavite crystal. Then we have got the rune of Ehwaz and the number 7. And group number 4 corresponds to the Rhodonite as well as the rune of Isa and the number 1. And as I already mentioned, the timestamps to all 4 of these groups can be found below in the description box and pinned to the top of the comment section. But what I'll do now is I'll allow you a little moment of privacy. Feel free to pause the video right here so you can meditate on the 4 groups and pick the right one for you, and then I'll be right back to guide you into your readings. Alright, so by now you've hopefully been able to select one of these 4 groups. I'll be starting off the predictions with group number 1, which corresponds to the bismuth. So if this is the group that you chose, then please simply continue watching. And to my other beautiful groups, I will catch you at the click of your timestamp. Hello group number 1 and welcome to your reading. You chose the bismuth as well as the rune of Algiz and the number 3 to help guide you through what's happening within the next 6 months of your life. So I will be using psychic messages that I'm receiving as well as storytelling and the meanings of the cards and the crystals to help guide you through the next 6 months of your life and allow you to figure out precisely where that will leave you. So we'll start off with your rune. Your rune, Algiz, let me just zoom in for you, group number 1. It represents the elk, and it is a rune of protection. So if you have been feeling vulnerable and like you are in need of protection by people closest to you, especially such as family, if this is something that you never received, as the number 3 is a number of working together, cooperation, and various forces coming together for one goal. If you grew up in kind of like a challenging household and situation, I want you to know that this may be a reason why you felt drawn to this group specifically. And I always like to say within my readings, if something doesn't resonate, then that message isn't for you. That's fine. Take what resonates, take what helps and supports you. And if there's anything that you feel that doesn't resonate, then that is simply just not the message that's coming through that was meant for you. So let's talk about the bismuth that you chose. Now, this is a very interesting crystal because it almost looks as though it is man-made, doesn't it? But it is actually, in fact, a mineral. The bismuth is an iridescent crystalline metal with a stair-step structure that forms when liquid bismuth cools. And bismuth's energy is focusing, conductive, and awakening. This is a stone that people need who are easily distracted, and burners, okay? People who are very bored. If this resonates with you as well, you know why you chose this crystal, because it was truly meant for you, specifically group number 1. And the best time for you to use this crystal is when you need to break out of tired, gray thought patterns and get into a more colorful and energized life. So if that sounds like precisely what you need and what you'd like for the next 6 months of your existence, then you're in the right space here on the internet, group number 1. Now let's get into it. Oh, and by the way, group number 1, I'm also streaming on Twitch now. I'm doing live streams, live tarot readings, and predictions. So you can come on Twitch, which is a streaming platform, when I'm on. You can find my schedule linked below, and then you can ask questions and I'll pull cards for you live. So it's kind of like a personal reading. It's really fun. I've been enjoying it a lot. But let's get into your reading. So the 4 of crystals shows that you're creating stability, because the number 4 is a number that corresponds to stable households and stable incomes. If right now you're working multiple jobs or your income is unstable, so sometimes it is a little higher, a little lower, and there are fluctuations, I want you to know that within the next 6 months you will create more stability there when it comes to how you're financing things in your life and also the level of income that you're at. So stabilizing that will allow you to focus more on doing things that you love to do and less on feeling anxious about the unpredictable sides of life. And you can also start saving. That's one thing that we've got in the 4 of crystals, as well as the fact that you had the rune of Algiz. Saving will allow you to be protected and shielded of difficult situations economically, and if you ever want to walk away from a job that just isn't serving you anymore, because the 9 of crystals shows that within 6 months you will walk away from something with just a minor little inconvenience or minor little hurt. Okay, it could have been a lot worse, but you kind of ran before things got too challenging, before things got too difficult. So if you are right now in a situation where you feel like you are putting yourself in danger every day, like if you drive really far to work and you often see car accidents and sometimes you overthink whether that may happen to you, if something happens within the next 6 months, you will not be injured in a really big way. You will walk away just with a few scratches. The same goes for feeling super burnt out in your job. If your profession right now leaves you feeling very burnt out, you won't have a full-blown burnout in the next 6 months. You will be able to still walk away and recover, but you will experience that you've pushed yourself to the limit one too many times, and you will also learn that sometimes it's best for you to just take a step back and also just set boundaries between your work and your private life, so you're not constantly mixing it and constantly working, because you have to protect yourself and your sanity and also your friends and your family. I see that they're kind of upset at how much you are on your phone and how much you're also corresponding with people via email, because they feel like you're never taking time off or for yourself to fully switch off. And they're really worried that you may turn into a burnt out person who isn't able to get out of that, or that you may slip into even deeper depression and anxiety than you've already experienced or they've seen you experience, and they don't want you to go through more of that. So I definitely see that there is concern here that your goals and aspirations are pushing you a little too hard, But at the same time, group number one, you also, of course, need to push yourself a little. And the people who love you the most, they don't want you to work too hard. They don't want to push yourself too much to the limit. So of course they're going to be worried for you really early on when they see signs of exhaustion, or when you just say to them that you're tired and you don't want to keep going like this. They're already looking for ways how you can immediately stop whatever is making you tired and whatever you feel is too much. But you also need to know to which point to go before you can quit. Like, for example, if you need to spend a couple extra weeks or months in a job that you don't like, just in order to seamlessly be able to transition from the job you don't like to a new job or a new position that you do like, sometimes it is worth the sacrifice rather than quitting on the spot and then for a couple of weeks or months being financially in the gutter. Okay, so at the end of the day, you also need to do what gives you peace, and sometimes we have to sacrifice things in the moment in order for the long-term gratification to take place the way we want. So next up, we've got the Hanged Man in reverse though. So the Hanged Man in reverse shows us that movement is taking place within the next 6 months. So you will be traveling and moving around, and I can see here that the space that you're currently living in, a message that I'm getting is that you've experienced some super traumatic things where you're living right now. And one thing is that you are thinking of uprooting and moving somewhere else. So it can be a new town, a new city, potentially even a new country. We will add some letters into your reading just so we can get more clarity on where you're moving to. But long story short, you are not going to stay complacent anymore. So let's see what letters Spirit has for us. We've got S as well as A. Okay, so these are the important letters within the name of the place that you're moving to. As mentioned, it can be a big town, or if you're moving into another country, these are the letters within the name of that country, group number one. And you're moving away because you know it's just the best thing for you to do for your mental health, and the time has come. You have had your experiences in the spot that you're living right now, but you can really benefit from a fresh beginning and fresh start, even if that inconveniences you a little bit financially or even professionally. In the long term, it's the best thing for you to do. I see within the Wheel of Fortune that actually you have really great luck ahead of you. So you're going to find a place where you can live that will accept you very quickly. If you're looking for rentals, I just want you to know that luck is on your side. That's what the Wheel of Fortune represents, and to have fate in the fact that yes, you have this kind of like story that's already written out, where you will find a good place, where you know that just inevitably you are attracting things into your life that are meant to be, that are good for you, and to not question too deeply how everything will work out, but just to take the right steps towards where you're headed every single day, and then watch as life unfolds. Like, for example, there are so many people who have built very successful businesses. They didn't know how to do it, when it would start, when they would get there, but just every day they woke up and they took action towards their goals. And that is precisely what I see you being called to do, group number one. So don't ask yourself so much how these next 6 months are going to transpire, how you're going to make the move, how you are going to have so much more savings in the bank. Just simply make the right steps towards that direction, and you will find that you will be there 6 months from now. Next up, we've got the Devil. Okay, so the next 6 months will bring some temptations. The Devil is a card of success, but also worldliness. So when people get very successful, they can be tempted to drink more, to consume substances, to use them in an unethical way, also to spend a lot of money on things they don't need, to impress people who they don't even like or don't even care about them. So there are so many things in this world that are just put there just as temptation for big corporations and big companies to make money off of our insecurities or off of the fact that we feel tempted to give in. Even like new clothes, fashion. I mean, I understand there is craftsmanship behind it, there is an art, but a lot of these things, okay, especially fast fashion companies that are only focused on following the trends that seep through from the major runways and fashion houses. A lot of them are also just based on making a profit. It has nothing to do with craftsmanship, nothing to do with telling a story. And that is where we need to be really careful what we purchase and what we put our energy towards and what type of energy we allow to come near us. Like even, for example, you guys know I've been having an issue with my tarot decks and oracle decks being ripped off. You can find them on like AliExpress and just all of these kind of fast fashion, cheaply made things websites. Basically, of course, it will never be the same quality, never be the same shipping, never the same packaging. There won't be any notes from me, any free crystals and gifts, nothing like that when you order counterfeit decks. But you know, also the energy that you're ordering and using, just think about it. For me, as someone who has self-published their work and as a creator, it's super painful to see my products and my hard work being ripped off because I paid for the illustrations, I wrote the books, I had it printed, I had to pay for everything up front. I had to take such a leap of faith and put so much belief into myself that it would work out that they will never have to do. They just rip it off once they know that it's successful and people are buying it. But just think of the energy as well that you are using when you are in a space where you've purchased something that's counterfeit, when you've purchased something that is just overall made with ill intentions, such as something that was produced quickly and cheaply and that was ripped off from another person. So there is a lot of this kind of tempting stuff, even buying really cheap things online. And trust me, I too have succumbed to that, and I probably will succumb to it at some point in the future again. But I just want you to remember here that this is something that you should try to avoid, that you should try to not give into, no matter how tempting it may seem. Because it is just not worth mixing your pure, clean, kind energy with energy that isn't in line with where you're going and what you're trying to represent in this world, what you're trying to put out there and stand for. Next up, we've got the Queen of Swords for you. Now, group number one, the Queen of Swords is someone who is very logical and decisive. So that part of you within the next 6 months is going to be far more deeply represented, and also a part of you that is kind of in a way very direct and honest. You can see she's holding a sword, she looks like she's not playing any games, and she's going to tell you precisely how she feels and what she means. So any situationships or just relationships in which you feel like people aren't putting in the energy that you're putting in, you're going to axe them, you're going to get rid of them. That's why we've got the sword. You're going to be very direct about what you will and will not accept, and anyone who doesn't like it can leave. They can find someone who will tolerate their BS, because you are not a doormat, group number one. And the thing is, even if at one point you quote unquote were one, or you behaved like one, and even if you feel bad for that or embarrassed, that doesn't mean that you can never get up and stand up for yourself in the future. And you're learning within the next 6 months that it is so fine for you to have new boundaries, new standards, and to enforce those. Next up, we have the Four of Cups. Now, the Four of Cups does show that this will show you the truth about a lot of people and their intentions that they had for you. So when you see people leaving your life because you're not tolerating their BS anymore, that just shows here that, for one, we've got the dolphin, which represents happiness, but then we also have this turtle creature here that looks a little gutted, right? And part of you feels very happy that you see people's true colors and you understand who they really are. And then part of you also feels like, you know, it is kind of sad to see that not everyone wanted the best for you or wants to see you be strong and wants to see you enforcing boundaries. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's kind of like a situation that you will learn to gradually deal with when you realize what kind of people thrive off of minimizing your borders and boundaries and disrespecting them, and what kind of people actually love that for you. And you will start to be able to read people a lot faster and more precisely the more that you kind of like become very, very clear on what you want and where you're going. And then moving forward, it will be a lot easier for you to pick, for example, friends and romantic partners, because you already have a good understanding of how people are on the inside. Ooh, okay, next up, we've got the river otter. Slide into joy. The next 6 months are going to be filled with some get-togethers and parties that will be fun and joyful. A lot of LGBTQ plus events as well. A lot of LGBTQ plus friendly things that are happening around you. And I see that you feel very comfortable when other people feel comfortable. You really are the kind of person who doesn't like when people hide themselves or they feel the need to kind of pretend to be someone who they're not. Maybe the LGBTQ plus movement will even make you kind of question your own sensuality and ask yourself, okay, when did I decide that this is how I felt about love and relationships, and can I maybe even update some parts of myself, like gender roles that I had, or internalized misogyny that I didn't even know was in me. Let me give you an example, group number 1. When we as women, for example, this could also align with men, but I'm just using an example that I know as a straight woman growing up in this misogynistic society. When we don't like another woman or we are in a disagreement, whether it's on TV or in the media or we see it happening, people immediately jump to saying, oh, she's a slut, or she's this, she's a W. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say that on YouTube, but you get what I mean. She's a WHORE, okay? And the thing is, like, why did we start to shame women for the amount of people that they allegedly slept with? Why do we shame them for that? But straight men get celebrated for it or can even boast about it. But imagine if a woman were to boast about, oh, I've had so many people. Of course, there are some who do say that openly, but just generally, it isn't really something that's accepted. And maybe you have even caught yourself thinking, oh my God, that woman has slept with a lot of men, so she must be a very loose person, or she must not love herself or value herself in the same way. And that is internalized misogyny that we often don't realize, because what makes her value herself any less than a man who does the same thing? Now, we can argue and discuss about whether having a lot of sensual partners makes you someone who values themselves less or more. I think it really varies and depends on the reason why you're intimate with a lot of different people. But long story short, men and women get treated differently for the same actions, especially when it's all about what happens with their private parts. Everyone has this kind of internalized depiction of how a man or a woman should be. Here within human, the thing is that we need to remember to forget. And I know it's a super controversial way to see things, to say things, but you need to remember to forget that a lot of things we have been taught by mainstream media or the news is not serving us, and is also in many ways just charged in a political sense. It's charged by narratives from companies who can benefit off of our insecurities, and we need to remember to forget that ish sometimes, okay? We have to forget that certain bodies are seen as beautiful and others are put down. We need to remember to forget that it doesn't matter whether you have been with X amount of people or whether you are above the age of 30 and you have no children and you're not married and you're not interested in it. It doesn't make you any less worthy. It doesn't mean that you are late to the party or something is wrong with you. We need to remember to forget all of these boxes and confinements, these drawers that have been created for us to be placed in, even though we don't belong in them, even though a lot of us were simply not built to fit into those boxes. And that's where we've got the Knight of Blades that clearly wanted to talk. I was just about to shuffle, but the Knight of Blades was like, nope, I need to say something to this. I need to add to this point. So my beautiful babies of the zodiac, the Knight of Blades shows aggressive masculine energy, getting right in there with the sword, kind of breaking through and cutting through all of these notions that have been created and that have been put in your head since you were a child, okay? All of these stories that absolutely do not hold any validity. And these concepts of what life should look like or should be like that never served you and simply put unnecessary pressures onto you about who you should be, how you should look, how you should express yourself, and where you should be at certain areas of your life. And I see in the Knight of Blades that you are definitely the one in your community and in your family to first initiate and break through these gender norms and gender roles, to break through ageism as well. So to do something even though people say you're too old for it, or to break through it in the sense of doing something where people say you're too young to speak so wisely, or you're too young to go through these struggles, but you get through them, you survive them, you build the business, you start a successful community, you are in a successful relationship at a young age that is very serious, and you show people that age literally is just a concept. In many ways, it is just a number, and we don't need to stick to the milestones that TV and media and modern society has set on us to make us feel like we are inadequate if we've passed a certain age and we haven't done the things like start a family or gotten married, and that we're too young if we have big goals and ambitions and we want to start those early in life as well. You get to decide at what age you are ready for which particular aspect of life and which particular experience. And you can also say that you do not feel ready to be adulting to a certain degree. That is completely fine too. So maybe you do not feel ready yet to move out at the age of 18. Talk to your parents about it. Hopefully you have an understanding family that will understand you don't feel ready. Maybe you also just don't feel ready to have children and you're 30 years old. Maybe you will never feel ready. And here in the Five of Cups reversed, rather than feeling like it is something to hold in or that makes you inadequate, that makes you the black sheep, just remind yourself here that when you live your truth and you live your wants and needs, and you truly just kind of like allow yourself to ask yourself, do you even feel ready for this, or are you being pushed into it? That's when you find a new sense of relief and freedom, when you give yourself permission to do things in your time. And from that day that you decide that you won't allow other people's expectations to be part of your actions and your decisions that you make that will affect you especially, because people are so quick to throw out here that you should get married at a certain age or you should have children at a certain age, but are they taking care of those children for the next at least 18 years? Are they giving birth to those children? Are they going to be there for the consequences when that child misbehaves in school and you're being called into the principal office? Are they going to be there when you are at hospital because for some reason during pregnancy or childbirth or as your kid was growing up, you had some sort of complications or you are struggling with your mental health? Will they be there to foot the bill? Will they be there to support you, to hold your hand, to be at the therapist's office with you? If the answer is no, then honestly, they shouldn't have a say or any part of the decision making of these big choices in your life. If someone who is telling you how to live your life isn't going to bear the consequences, foot the bill, or be there to support you emotionally and physically, then their opinion should just be an opinion. It should just be words. You can take it into consideration, but the decision at the end of the day should never be forced by someone who will have no business and probably even disappear as soon as you have to carry the consequences and live your life accordingly. Now, group number 1, if this is the empowerment that you needed to stand your ground and live the life in the way that you see fit, then definitely leave a butterfly emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you chose group number 1 and you made it to this point in your reading. Now, I am getting a message from Spirit that we're not finished. We're not done with you, group number 1. There are many more details about what's coming towards you within the next 6 months that we have yet to unfold and discover. So what I'll do now for you is that I will clear and cleanse the space, and then I will be right back to guide you further into your reading so we can figure out precisely what's coming towards you within the next 6 months of your life. Welcome back, group number 1. Let's move more deeply into your prediction, shall we? So let's see what else is coming towards you within the next 6 months of your life. I'll be getting into it using the Wild Muse Oracle deck. So within the second part of your reading, I want you to know that you'll have some perfect moments within the next 6 months that you could not even picture in a better way. So a perfect kiss, a perfect situation where you're celebrating an accomplishment, maybe even your birthday, and you feel like you couldn't have dreamt of this moment being better than it actually ended up being. Okay, so perfect moments that you are enjoying, despite the fact that, yeah, there may be other areas of your life where you still would like to have some improvements happen, but it's not taking away from the most amazing perfect moments within the next 6 months. And as we had the Boss Up card show up, we can be more detailed about what area of your life these perfect moments are happening in. So in the Boss Up card, we've got your career, we've got your finances, as well as your education. So perfect moments in the Boss Up card shows us here that things are going to go amazingly well for you in your career and in the ambitions that you have for yourself professionally. So you're not going to expect this, but things will be better than you thought, group number 1. I'm just going to move your number as well as your rune over here. And I want you to know that you are divinely protected in these next 6 months. After all, we did have Algiz as your rune, which I'm sure you didn't know before choosing this group, that it actually represents protection. It represents having a shield, some sort of protective energies and cloak being around you for the next 6 months. So you are divinely protected by your guides, by the universe, and by the karma that you've created for yourself. Every time you made a decision that was based on being a good person and creating good karma for yourself, you are now going to reap the rewards of that within the next 6 months of your life, especially when you check your bank statement. I see here within the best case scenario for you, group number 1, that the next 6 months in the areas of your life where you were worried that have to do with where you're putting in discipline and work, the best case scenario is going to come true for you. And we also have master number 33, which is a number of learning. It's a number of collaborating with other people. And it shows here that areas of your life where others are involved, like teachers who are grading you, or bosses who are allowing you to either be able to have promotions or who decline promotions, even customers if you've got your own business and they're judging your products and your services. I would like for you to know here that you're providing some exceptional value within the next 6 months that will be rewarded in ways that you thought unimaginable. And the best case scenario also shows that 6 months from now, you will think that you've accomplished so much in such a short amount of time. Okay, that card didn't quite flip over, so we don't need to read that. But coming back to this point, let me just finish it before I start shuffling. So we'll focus on one thing at a time, group number 1. Let's not do too many things at once. So in the best case scenario, understand that within 6 months you will look back and think, wow, if I can do this, I wonder what else I'm capable of. And it will just give you a different kind of confidence in where you're able to go in this lifetime, that will have you set your goals and your dreams and your sights even higher 6 months from now than you would right now as you're consuming and watching this piece of content. So let's shuffle and see what other message that you're meant to receive about your life within 6 months from now. So Spirit, let us know what group number 1 really must understand about what's going on within 6 months. Okay, so this is a card that we received, and it is being open to receiving. Now, if you have felt icky receiving a gift or a compliment before, group number 1, this is your sign, this is your symbol to just start to be open and to unlearn that. Remind yourself how in the first part of your reading we had the remember to forget card, right? And that was the card that represented, the human. Sorry, I had another card that flew in here from the deck, but it's probably meant to be in here, so we'll get into that card in just a second. As I picked up your human card, that card flew out of the pile, so we will talk about it. But for now, let's engage here with the human and being open to receiving. Remind yourself that you have to remember to forget that it's something icky to accept a compliment or to accept a gift, to accept something kind or something giving from another person. Because society has really trained us to hate ourselves or to feel like we are unworthy. That's why society has made it the norm that it's almost like you have to downplay compliments. It's almost like you have to not accept them. Otherwise, you're seen as cocky or someone who just isn't humble, and it's really not fair on us to put that kind of pressure on ourselves. And let's also figure out what card popped out of the pile that I mentioned to you as I was pulling out your human card. We've got the little owl. Now, the little owl brings the message of the key into wisdom. The thing here is that once you realize that a lot of behaviors are learned behaviors, they are actually not the most natural or supportive ones to you, that's when you can unlearn them. That is your key to wisdom for the next 6 months, to ask yourself what behaviors are serving you and are actually supportive, and which behaviors did you learn to your detriment. That is a way in which you can ask yourself, okay, now how can I adjust behaviors? Like when someone pays you a compliment and you just say, no, I'm not that pretty, I'm not that smart, or oh, this old thing that I'm wearing. No, simply accept the compliments. Next time someone tells you you look nice, just say thank you, or say thank you, you look nice too, or thank you, I really like this about you, and point out something genuine. Never give someone a compliment that isn't genuine, because you can just feel and sense that. But try to look for something beautiful, something unique and special in the same person that complimented you on being unique and special. So we've got receptive as well as a butterfly. First of all, I hope you left that butterfly emoji below, because the butterfly is the symbol for you. If you needed a sign about that, group number 1, here it is. The universe never misses. And then we also have the receptive message in the butterfly. So you are transforming, just as a caterpillar transforms to a butterfly, you are transforming from someone who isn't as receptive to someone who is open to receiving, group number 1. And being receptive to receiving means that you will also receive far more than you have in the past, because blocking off receiving things, be it help, be it gifts, money, upgrades in your life, that just completely throws off your flow of abundance. But within the next 6 months, you're learning to open that portal. You're learning to kind of open the tap to where you can allow for things to flow again. And you're realizing that it's not always so much about taking action and going out there and doing things and putting yourself in a position where you're being very masculine. Sometimes it's just about leaning back and receiving what life and other people have to offer for you. Next up, we have got be assertive. This is what's happening within the next 6 months when you're finding a new space for yourself, especially the moving aspect, okay? Moving to a new place, moving in with a partner. Be assertive about where you move into and what town you're living in, okay? Check the crime rates, check how safe it is, check how many kind of violent crimes there are per month and per year. Compare it to other places in your country and in your surroundings, because I can see that there is a space where you think you're safe or you feel this false sense of safety, but actually it's not really a super safe space for you to be in. So Spirit and your guides definitely want you to be assertive in any space that you spend a lot of time in within the next 6 months. And remind yourself that just because maybe you felt good about a place that isn't actually as safe as you think it is, that doesn't mean that you're not ready for this new chapter. One thing that you will learn within the next 6 months is that you are ready for the next steps. You are ready to move into your own home, or at least a different town and city, and rebuild there. Start something from the ground up that will be far more successful than when you hold on to the place that you already know. And know and understand that you're also ready for some intense spell work. If you have been thinking of learning the tarot or using oracle cards, even doing little spells and magic rituals that can help you to increase your confidence and help you connect, help you manifest, you're ready for this. You have in many ways underestimated your capabilities and what you're ready to receive. But group number 1, the next 6 months are going to teach you that every time you take action towards the things that you desire, you will find just positive reinforcement. So things will go how you want, things will go well, successfully, and you will find that you were always ready. You just simply needed to step into taking action in the areas of your life where you were too afraid to put yourself out there. You will see that you are, in fact, the queen of everything, or king of everything, depending on how you'd like to identify. The queen of everything shows us here that you've got your world in your hands. You're sitting in a relaxed position. Within 6 months from now, you will find that you are far, far more secure in yourself and your accomplishments, and also where you're headed, than you've ever been in life. And you don't really care about what someone else has in store for you. You only understand that the fact that you're giving yourself what you always wanted from others fills every void. You don't need another person to complete you. You don't need a certain amount of money to make you happy, even though you will have the things that you desire and you will have that success. You understand that true success is when you fill your own needs. Like if you want a partner that pays bills, that buys you things, that makes you feel special, if you want a job that gives you a 6 or 7 or 8 figure income, whatever it is that you want, 9 figures, 10 figures, you know that you have to first give yourself those feelings that you're seeking. If you're seeking for a partner to give you a lot of attention and love, give yourself attention and love first. If you want a partner that spoils you rotten, spoil yourself rotten first. Work hard and then spoil yourself. If you want someone who can help you get your life in order, so if you feel like your finances are out of whack, your life is completely chaotic, you first need to plan and organize. Another person or an external force will not fix that. You first give yourself what you need, what you hoped and prayed for. Save yourself in the way that you thought another person would come into your life and save you. And then realize that you are stronger than you ever thought, and actually you don't need another person. And then you become so picky about who you allow into your life, who you link up with, who you allow to share the same bed with you, that actually you have this immense amount of self-respect and love for yourself that you can also see who is a good partner and who is not actually on your level. So let's uncover the last card that we've got for you, group number 1. I hope you've enjoyed this reading so far. Trust your intuition. If there's one thing that Spirit wants you to take from this tarot card reading, and that I want you to take from your prediction, is to trust your gut feeling and your intuition, especially when you absolutely don't know what choice to make, when you're not sure about whether to go left or right, whether you are on a path that will lead you to success or not. Go inwards rather than look for external confirmation and validation, and trust your gut feeling and your intuition. If you feel as though you are on the right path, that is what matters the most, group number 1, and you don't need anyone else to confirm that but your own happiness and your own gut feeling. Now, group 1, this is the reading that I've received for you. Definitely leave that butterfly emoji below if you haven't already. If you did already leave the butterfly emoji below, then comment below, I am ready to manifest this affirmation and to just kind of put it out there into the world, because when something is said, it's out there in the universe, both negative and positive, so we might as well fuel ourselves up with positives. Say to yourself, I am ready. Type it below in the comment section. That way you can manifest and let me and others know that you watched group number 1 all the way until the end. Now, group 1, I would like to thank you for spending this divine time and space with me. All the links to my self-published tarot decks and also crystal jewelry are below in the comment section. If you would like to tune into more pick a card tarot readings that you can't find anywhere else on the internet, that are a lot more detailed, intricate, and where I can say things that I'm not allowed to here on YouTube, then check out my Patreon. That is linked below in the description box as well. Now, group 1, know that I'm sending you so much love, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming readings. Hello, all my beautiful souls who've selected group number 2. What is up? How are you all doing? Now, you chose the Larimar in connectivity to the number 6, as well as the rune of Pertho, and we'll get into the meanings of all of this right now. I will start off with the Larimar crystal for you. This is a very gorgeous stone, especially to wear as a piece of jewelry. If you're looking for Larimar jewelry, I have this gorgeous Empress of the Sea Larimar ring on my website. Larimar is a beautiful and powerful crystal that can be found in the Dominican Republic, and its energy is like a spiritual snow cone for the seething and sweltering. So anyone who is hot-tempered, like an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius, can benefit from the Larimar. But also, if you feel like all of the world's problems are suddenly just your problem, when anger stands between you and the formation of articulate sentences, remember, chilling out is a choice. Ride the cool breeze of Larimar. There's a reason why you chose this crystal. There's a reason why you're here right now. And it is to show you how to slow your roll and to understand that the next 6 months can be the most successful, wildest 6 months of your life, but you have to allow for things to develop, okay? If you're someone who is rather impatient, then you know that right off the bat, your favorite tarot reader as well as your guides are calling you out to take a step back and just take a chill pill, group number 2. Next up, the number 6 is actually a number of victory. So if you've always kind of liked this number and you felt as though it's like a guilty pleasure number, because you know that people say that the number 666 is like a devil number. You guys, I love any number that repeats the number 6, whether it's 66, 666, or just the number 6 on itself. This is a number of family, of gratitude and generosity. This is actually a very positive number for you. So don't believe what mainstream media says. This is an excellent number for you to take with you moving forward, and also to see as synchronicities within your life. And then lastly, for this part of your reading, I want you to know here that the rune Pertho actually represents magic and mystery and the divine feminine. Receiving this rune shows that the next 6 months is going to have have a lot of unexpected, mysterious ways in which you will feel as though your life is filled with magic, and also divine feminine energy. That's dreamy energy, that's receptive energy, so things coming your way and you receiving those things, group number 2. And I want to get into the readings so we can figure out precisely what is happening within the next 6 months of your life in a very, very detailed kind of manner. So let's get into it. First up, we have the 10 of crystals. So a big project is coming to an end, something that's been weighing very heavily on you and your shoulders. And I want you to know here in the 10 of crystals that it shows a lot of effort. It shows that you're carrying something very heavy that a lot of people in your situation would have maybe already crumbled under, but you are strong. You are holding everything up, yourself, other people. You're keeping it together. And I want you to know that the 10 is a number of completion, okay? Because the suit of crystals and the other 3 suits of the tarot, because there's 4 suits in total, they range from the number 1 through 10. And then there is the page, there's the princess, there is the king and the queen, right? And I want you to know here within the 10 of crystals that being the end of the numbered part of the suit means that after this comes a new beginning. So you will successfully close off a challenging, heavy chapter of your life and your existence to then be able to start something new. So within the next 6 months, you're closing off something difficult. You know that it is coming to an end finally, and there's a point where you're here and receiving this reading. And it is also in connectivity to the Larimar to remind you not to try to rush anything, not to exhaust yourself. Everything will happen in due time or due course. And also to remind yourself here that sometimes you just need to hold on a little longer, just be strong for a couple extra days or weeks in order to successfully close something off rather than trying to rush it and then in the end causing more delays as you're trying to rush. It's like when you're rushing things and you make more mistakes than if you would just take your time. And in the end, it takes way longer to complete the tasks. So here within the 10 of crystals, know that this is, in a sense, a positive card because you're having this fresh beginning. And in a sense, it's also a challenging card because it means that a challenging project will need that extra little bit of spice and energy from you until you can move on. But being successful, I think that will clear up all of the difficulty that you had along the way. Because if you've ever had something really challenging that you accomplished, when you think back, you don't even remember the challenging moments as much as you remember the victory. Now, the Fool in reverse shows us here that you're actually going to move on to a next chapter in your life where you're not as free as you were before. But this is something that you're doing by choice. That is what I see. So for example, adopting another animal or an animal in general, having children, also moving in together with a partner, it restricts your freedom because you have responsibility. You have something that you need to take care of where you can't just live your life however you want. You need to take this other very much alive entity into consideration as you're doing life, right? But I do see here that it's something that's happening by choice. It's something that you want. It's something you desire. And it's something that's actually bringing more magic into your life in the sense of feeling like in the end it's all worth it, and in the end you wouldn't change it for the world, even if it's more responsibility and more work. Next up, we've got the King of Blades in reverse. Now the King of Blades in reverse shows us an air sign, so a Libra, Aquarius, or a Gemini who is leaving your life. So this is somebody that you're not going to be in touch with anymore within the next 6 months from now, from you receiving and watching this video. And I can see that they were just putting pressure on you. And connecting that to the 10 of crystals, I see that this is someone you're working with professionally who has been stressing you out unnecessarily, who thinks that they know everything better, who always feels like you're not doing enough, and who doesn't have any regard for emotional intelligence. So getting them away from you and off of your shoulder. Someone who is heavy in these air sign placements, it's going to feel like a huge relief and release for you. And the King of Blades showing up reversed just shows that they're going to make a very quick exit. There's not going to be any big fight or discussion. It's just going to be clear from your side as well as from the King of Blades side that this relationship has run its course and that it's coming to an end. And here within the Page of Cups, this actually leaves space for you to now have new people in your life who actually understand you, who actually have some emotional intelligence under their belt. And furthermore, the Page of Cups in reverse shows us here that you are going to have emotional outbursts leave your life as well. So because you have been experiencing so much stress, group number 2, and so much pressure, it made you a lot more likely to have emotional outbursts and to be more emotional than you know you want to be in a lot of moments. It's not that you shame your emotions, but you can also tell when you're being more emotional than necessary. Like when you cry way more quickly than you ever used to, and you feel upset about little things, and you just know that something in you is not right. Something in you just isn't calm and is kind of stressed out. So it manifests itself in the way of very explosive emotionality, which is why you chose the Larimar. Again, there's a reason why you choose these crystals, these numbers, why you're here within this reading. And I want you to understand that this is leaving your life within the next 6 months. This is healing itself. This is an area in which you're making a lot of progress. We also have the earthworm here. Now, the earthworm brings a message of discovering your purpose, because in case you didn't know, earthworms are extremely important for the quality of soil. They help a lot of other creatures as well as plants to be able to thrive, to be able to provide us with beautiful environments, forests, food, etc. So we may think that they are not as important when actually they are divinely important. They are very useful creatures. And the thing here is that you may have also seen some of your gifts as useless or as not that big of a deal, but actually there are talents that you have where you're discovering your purpose within the next 6 months. And it's so simple, so to the point that you will ask yourself how this did not happen way sooner for you. And here within the sea turtle, the thing is that you just had to find your element. As you know, sea turtles outside of land, they're very slow. Their shells are so heavy for them to carry and to maneuver, to move around. That is not their element. In the water, however, they are weightless. They don't have very many natural predators that are after them. They have this protective shell that allows them to always have a shield literally on their backs and protect themselves from harm. They're relatively big, strong, they're intelligent, they're intuitive. The thing is, just on land, they can't live their best lives, just like you have been in the wrong element, meaning the wrong city, the wrong town, the wrong country, the wrong relationships, the wrong professional life. You know where you went wrong, group number 2, and where you've been holding on for far longer than you should. And then you're taken out of your element and you're asking yourself, well, why am I not progressing? Why am I not the success that I know I can be? Well, the thing is, we need to be real and honest and clear with ourselves when we're out of our element, and then find a way to get back into our element. Find a way back home. Find a way how you can be in a space where you know, here I can thrive. Here I am not just tolerated, I am actually celebrated. And that is an important message for you to receive about your next 6 months, and how to know what is right for you and what simply isn't. So the 9 of Swords shows me here that you're already being told not to be surprised if you have some insomnia or even some nightmares. And group 2, I hope that you can appreciate my honesty. I hope you can appreciate how direct that I am, and I read challenging messages as well as easy, lighthearted ones. But the Nine of Swords definitely shows that when it comes to going to bed, to sleeping, to dreaming, there's just something that you're dealing with, some things that you're processing from your past that can make it very difficult for you to fall asleep. But there are solutions for this, so don't feel as though this is an issue that you just have to deal with yourself or that's going to make life super challenging for you. It doesn't have to. We've got the Fool next out of this deck for you. And receiving the Fool in your reading means a new beginning. It means that you can start something on a completely fresh note, and connecting that to your sleep pattern being important and you having to start from zero because your current sleep pattern and routine and hygiene is not working for you. This shows here that what's best for you to do is to throw everything out the window that you ever thought you knew about sleep and start afresh, okay? Read books about sleep. There is a book by Matthew Walker called Why We Sleep. It is life-changing. I would read that if I were you. There are also other blogs and ways in which you can learn more about sleep, getting good sleep, restful sleep, high quality sleep, and then act on it, okay? Whether that is, for example, having a diffuser with some lavender essential oil next to your bed for your nighttime routine, reading, singing, chanting, meditating, whatever it is that you need in order to fall asleep in a way that lets you relax is what you should invest in. Now, the Four of Pentacles shows here that the next 6 months, be stingy with things that don't aid your personal development. That's what the Four of Pentacles is representing to you. If you want freedom, invest in your personal development. If you want to feel happy, invest in yourself, but not in the way of buying fancy clothes or fancy makeup or anything like that, you know, a fancy new car. Don't do things like that, but instead invest in, for example, going to yoga classes, invest in therapy, invest in your sleep hygiene, right? Get that diffuser, that essential oil, and then actually use it. Actually get your money's worth and more. I see in the Seven of Cups that the next 6 months will bring you so many options of what you can do. And a lot of options means that your standing is pretty good, okay? You've got money to spend on things you don't necessarily need. You also have time to spend with people that you choose. So it could be a romantic partner, it could be a friend, a family member. The thing is, like, you have an abundance of options. And with that also comes a little bit of pressure to make the right choice for yourself. And the thing here that Spirit wants to guide you towards is to pick the options that naturally draw you towards them. Don't overthink your decisions, okay? Because when you start to overthink your choices, you start to doubt yourself. And self-doubt is something that we're banishing. Everything is connected. Remind yourself here, the message of the zigzag spider is that when you start to doubt yourself in one area of life, that ultimately affects other areas of life as well. You start to doubt, for example, whether you can get up every day and work out and journal or meditate. All of a sudden, you start to doubt whether you can actually get to this next level in your career, whether you can get the promotion, whether you can create this amazing project from start to finish and have it actually make the company grow and have it actually be something that other people see as valuable. See what I mean? If you doubt yourself in one area of life, other areas are affected as well because everything is connected. And here within the Black Bear, understand that syncing with your cycles can be an immensely powerful tool to combat any kind of self-delusion that you have, so not being as confident as you should be, because honestly, some of you are seriously delulu with how amazing, beautiful, inside and out, intelligent, witty, and funny that you are. And you're out here doubting yourself. When someone with half the potential, with half the work that they've put into themselves, feels like they are the queen or the king of the world, you are here doubting your basic attributes. You're here doubting being able to do basic things when you could do that and 10 times more. All of my beautiful souls of group number 2, there's a reason you're here. Remind yourself that this reading is meant for you if this strongly resonates, this kind of mindset, these fears, this kind of overthinking. And remind yourself in the Black Bear that also different times of the month come with different kind of feelings. If you are somebody who identifies as female and menstruates, for example, you may feel a lot more irritable or even have a lot of issues with your confidence and your feelings of self-worth during the times where you are bleeding, during the times where you are going through your menstrual cycle. And you may feel a lot freer when you've just overcome that, right? Because it's painful, you feel bloated, you don't feel your best self. That is the reality for a lot of us. And the thing is, like, when you sync with your cycles, you can also be more gentle with yourself during that time of the month. You can remind yourself, okay, now I'll feel a little more self-conscious, and that's fine. I won't apply that to my entire existence. I won't allow that to affect my work. I won't allow that to affect how I deal with situations, how I speak to myself. I won't let that affect my routine. And then you can also say to yourself, soon it'll be over, and then I can go full speed ahead. But now I'm going to give myself a little bit of time to regain my strength. I will indulge in self-care. I will love myself, be kind and soft to myself, because I know that this is just a cycle that I'm going through. So remind yourself here that life is a cycle, it's a rhythm. Everything has a beat. And when you figure out the beat, you figure out what is the key to success. But the thing is, everybody has a different beat. Every life, every business, every venture has its own individual beat, which you need to figure out, you need to listen into, you need to hear, and then learn to dance to. Now, group number 2, this is just the first part of your reading. What I will do is I will clear, cleanse the space, and be back with you for more messages about what's coming towards you within the next 6 months of your life. Now, if you made it to this point of your reading, don't forget to leave a bear emoji below in the comment section. Yes, that is the last card we received in this segment of your reading, in this layout that I've created for you. So leave that bear emoji below to let me and others know that you're within group number 2 and you made it to this point of your prediction. So what I'll do now is I will cleanse and clear the space for you, and then I'll be right back to delve even more deeply into your reading with you. Welcome back, group number 2. Let's see what's happening within 6 months from now for you and move more deeply into your reading. So we've got forgiveness and peaceful resolution. Let me tell you, group number 2. Somebody wronged you and hurt your feelings. And one thing I'm getting here is a romantic partner. Someone who breadcrumbed you, who gave you the bare minimum because they could tell that you liked them so much, you would put up with it, at least for a while. Someone who did you and your heart wrong, they will come back and apologize. Okay, there is a peaceful resolution on the horizon here, because they will come to this realization that they did you dirty. They did things that in a sense are unforgivable, but because they are willing to apologize, because they are willing to, for once, be a big person, still not the bigger person, but be a big person, come back to you and say that they're sorry and that they realize what they did wrong, that opens your heart to forgiveness. And anyways, it's not like you needed them to come back to you to forgive them. You've already moved on, but still having that confirmation that you were not in fact super sensitive, that you weren't in fact exaggerating, it still feels good. And I want you to know, group number 2, that within the next 6 months, practicing this peaceful resolution will actually make you aware of how strong you are, because romantically speaking, anyone who really like effed up with you, who really messed up, you're not going back to them. That's never happening. You are not going to allow someone who didn't see your worth the first time round to come into your life for round 2. To come into your life leaving you with a bitter taste in your mouth and still letting you feel disrespected. You have let go of them. 6 months from now, understand that anyone who hasn't been able to stay in your life, you have let go for good. There's no coming back. There's no reconciliation. There is no getting back together. Anyone who you feel has not seen your worth properly, group number 2, you will not have any interest in being with them ever again. And I also want you to know that with peaceful resolutions and forgiveness, you can let go and never really think about the traumatizing or challenging things that happened to you ever again, because you've dealt with it. You don't have to relive trauma, and you understand that you don't deserve that. So the universe is really speaking to us and through these cards with us. It's a big no-no for you, group number 2. You are not going to re-traumatize yourself over and over again for another person. You are not going to live through painful experiences just because, you know, someone is trying to circle their way back into your life because they saw that the best thing they ever lost was you. If someone is willing to lose you, you let them stand on that decision. You let them live it, you let them experience it, and if they then want to say that they're sorry and that they wish that it wouldn't have gone down that way, you are a very elegant person to the point where you will accept the apology. You may even entertain parts of a conversation. But when it comes to reconciliation of taking somebody back, that is where you are not going to undermine your value and your worth. You're not going to go back to somebody that showed that they didn't respect you, even if they are claiming to respect you now. I see that actually within 6 months, you are heavily on your creative grind. And also, if you have an Instagram page or a website, know that your following will grow a lot. It will grow very quickly. It will grow tremendously, because you are no longer concerned with how another person has hurt you. You are concerned with your grind. You're going to the gym, you're working out, you're eating healthily, and you are heavily on your creative grind, which is allowing you to produce content, which is allowing you to create things. And group 2, I just always want to remind you in the readings, I know I'm a little late, we're a little far in, but any messages that don't resonate with you, just leave them, okay? Those weren't for you. I want you to know here that the messages that do resonate with you, take those messages, take those lessons with you, and allow them to guide you, to heal you, and to support you. If anything doesn't resonate, then just that part of the reading, that message, just wasn't meant for your situation at this point in time. I want you to know here within Devoted that within 6 months from now, you will be so devoted to your own crafts and your own dreams that literally you won't even realize anyone who is trying to come in and out of your life. You know, when you're dealing with a narcissist, they love the drama. They like to leave your life, come back in. They like to kind of stretch the boundaries. They like to make sure that they are constantly trespassing your boundaries, constantly belittling them, constantly making you undermine your own self-respect by letting them come in and out of your life. And I definitely see here that trespassing is not a thing for you. You're not allowing anyone to sneak through the night back into your life and under or over your boundaries into your personal space. You are devoted to yourself and your well-being, and you're not playing with it this time around. And in a sense, you feel very ashamed when you think about how you've let other people walk all over you in the past. But this is your message, group number 2. This is your sign to let go of that shame, okay? To forgive yourself for the times in which you feel like you wronged yourself. You were just trying to be a good person. You just wanted love. You just wanted respect. And sometimes we think by lowering our boundaries or standards, we will get that. But it can be fatal, because more often than not, when you do that, you actually learn that people respect you even less. That is just human nature. And especially if you're an empath, you have to learn not to do that. You have to learn the fact that some people are just very invasive to your space, because that is how they control you in situations. And the thing is, when we're in this bubble, in this safe space, we're talking, we're figuring out how to navigate life. We have to remember there are really harsh people out here. There are people out here who have no mercy. On planet Earth, there are a lot of people who are still even finding out how they can care and love for themselves. We can't expect them to love or respect anybody else. We are putting the standards too high for certain people, and we need to leave them there. We cannot heal and take care of everybody, group number 2. And the thing is, you have tried to help so many people in the past. I've seen you've tried with a lot of friends to lead them down the right path, to lead them away from drinking, to lead them away from smoking, from throwing their life basically down the drain, you know? And every time you've helped, in a sense, you were disappointed because they either made you out to be the issue or they completely went back to their destructive habits. And one thing is that if someone isn't ready for change, don't try to change them. And within 6 months, you're going to let go of holding on to anyone who is resisting change. And again, we've got sync with the cycles. Remind yourself, there are certain times of the month where you are more receptive to people and where people can talk you into things more easily. And during those times of the month, try to not undergo any kind of business negotiations. Try to not have any very deep, difficult talks with someone that you care about or someone that you love, because they're probably not going to be steered by what you really want, but more by you feeling overwhelmed, insecure, and just not in your element. And again, we've got the zigzag spider showing up for you, which is trying to communicate that everything is connected. So understand that while everything is super interwoven, if you feel disrespected, then that is also interwoven with the fact that you may have allowed for someone to feel comfortable disrespecting you. And we have to be very real with ourselves when it comes to this. Like just the other day, I felt so disrespected because I was disrespected by someone. There's no denying that. However, I had to ask myself, you know what? What they did is their karma, and I'm not going to judge them now for that. I need to look at how did I behave, or what signs and signals did I put out to them that allowed this person to feel like they could disrespect me and get away with it? What did I allow for little disrespects, little trespasses of my boundaries, that it got to the point where someone felt like they could disrespect me so openly and get away with it, and I would be fine with it? And the thing is, like, especially when someone is close to you because they are, for example, a romantic partner, a family member, a close friend, a close coworker, you've like built and established a relationship with them, or for some reason having them in your life is important to you, we often kind of allow people to trespass a lot more than we would strangers, and we forgive a lot more, and some people can take advantage of that. It's not even always meant in a malicious way, but you have to control this. Group number 2. Within 6 months from now, I also want you to understand that you will take a trip to a place where you feel very, very creative. And we have beachy vibes here. We've got tropical vibes. We have vibes of being on a canoe, on a boat, and you actually kind of being in a space where you are the invasive species. Okay, so a different country, a completely different time zone as well. And with Devoted, I see that you are very in tune with getting to know the land, the people, the traditions, and also the different ways in which people operate there throughout the year, how people live their lives, because you want to grow. You want to learn not only what happens in other cultures and other countries, and you're doing so through travel, but I also see that you understand that in a way everything is connected. We may go to a remote village somewhere in the Amazon and we may think to ourselves, wow, people live so differently here, or they are so different. But then we realize that actually our core values as humans, or the things that we all want, it's all the same. We want safety and security in the form of a roof above our heads and something to drink and to eat so we don't go thirsty or hungry. And we want love. We want to feel understood. We want to feel cared for. And in that way, all of us are connected. And that way, all of us are the same. And overall, within the next 6 months, travel is going to open your mind and your heart a lot. And it's going to open it to new cultures and close it to people who you can tell just are not worthy of your time and your attention. And it's going to make you very aware of respect and disrespect, and very aware of what you would like to tolerate and where you are absolutely not going to deal with somebody's behavior. So creating boundaries and forcing them, but still learning how to be calm, right? Remind yourself, the Larimar is the focal point for you. Calm energy of contemplation, of knowing how to have a very like low voice level conversation even when you want to scream. That's what I can see here you're accomplishing within the next 6 months, where in the past you may have blown up, you may have gotten angry, cried, or screamed. Moving forward, you will not allow for anyone to push you out of character unless you decide to. Now, group 2, I hope that you enjoyed this reading, and I'm excited for your powerful journey of growth and self-discovery in these next 6 months. If this resonated and you already have like a ticket booked to go to a place, to visit somewhere, to travel, leave an airplane emoji below in the comment section and comment where you're headed to, and let me and others know that this reading resonated for you. So group 2, I would like to thank you for sharing this divine time and space with me, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming readings. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading about the next 6 months of your life. So this video is timeless, like I mentioned within the intro. It starts from the moment you tune into your reading. So we're talking about within the next 6 months from this moment forward. You chose the Moldavite, the number 7, as well as the rune of Ehwaz, which we're going to read into every single piece of information we've got here. But first, let's talk about the Moldavite. So this beautiful green stone drew you in, and in case you did not know, the Moldavite is a stone that helps you to transform your life. So group number 3, the next 6 months are bound to be transformative AF. This stone is for anyone who feels like they're extraterrestrials trapped in human bodies, ayahuasca enthusiasts, and Aquarians, of course. So the best time to make use of this stone, or for you to connect with it, is when you feel too grounded or disconnected from spirit. Moldavite is all about operating at a higher frequency when you're looking for more wow and whoa within your life. On the meditation cushion, it can help you as well explode your perceptions with Moldavite. So for any of you who are looking for more wow moments, this is your reading. And I just want to say right off the bat, group number 3, all of the messages that will resonate with you, take them along your journey within these next 6 months. If there's anything that doesn't resonate within this tarot reading, let it be. Don't overthink what doesn't resonate. Focus on what does, because not every single message may resonate with you right now. So let's get into it. You also picked the number 7, which is a number of solitude. Are you an introvert, group number 3? Are you an empath? Are you the type of person whose social batteries get depleted very quickly? Because that is usually represented within the number 7. So if this is already resonating with you, just scratch the part where you leave messages on the table, because this reading was clearly meant for you. And you were clearly also drawn to the Moldavite because you need to be brought a little bit outside of your comfort zone. Ehwaz is a rune of transportation. It connects to the symbol of the horse. So if you're the type of person that likes horses, or even as a kid you were into horses, horse riding, and it was just something that you had around you growing up in childhood, know that this is symbolism for you to connect that love that you have for an animal that represents freedom, okay, because horses represent freedom, to the fact that you can find freedom outside of your comfort zone. Group number 3, you tend to be the type of person that gets so comfortable in their own space that everything else outside of your own 4 walls, outside of your own comfort zone, becomes uncomfortable, and you can almost trap yourself in your own safe space, okay? So Spirit and I are calling you out right from the start. So we've got 2 cards that popped out for you, the 10 of Swords and the Page of Pentacles. Now, don't worry about the 10 of Swords. I know this is a card that seems like it's not the easiest to digest or to stomach, but actually the number 10 is a card that shows something challenging has come to an end, and you can now start afresh again. And the thing here is that you've been overthinking a lot about what you're going to do professionally. And the Page of Pentacles shows here that within the next 6 months, you will finally have solutions to issues that you've had professionally. There has been overthinking about what path to choose and what will be the most fruitful. We've got bread on the floor, so you want to make sure that you're set up for life, and that, of course, whatever path that you choose when it comes to your professional life will not leave you feeling needy or like you can't pay for food, rent, basic things. So I definitely want you to understand in the Ten of Swords and the Page of Pentacles that you are dealing, you're solving, even if you've got to go outside of your comfort zone, or even if you have to budget a lot more rigorously within the next couple months, you will do that, group number 3. Next up, we've got the Eight of Pentacles as well as the Ace of Pentacles. Be aware of the fact that starting something new will require a lot of time and energy from you. You're going on a completely fresh approach within these next 6 months, so you're going to have a different approach to your spending. You will buy things that make more sense financially. You'll start to check, for example, when you purchase groceries, you will see, okay, how much is this bag of rice per 100 grams or per ounce compared to this one per ounce. You're not just going to be kind of swept away by packaging, by deals that are going on. You're really going to like compare, okay, what am I getting here? How long lasting is this product? What's the quality? You're going to compare them to each other and pick what is best and the most financially sound. And also where it doesn't make sense to scrimp, you're going to spend the extra money. Like with clothes, for example, you are realizing, okay, if I buy cheap clothes that are ill-fitting or that break very quickly, I end up purchasing so many things that I spend more than if I just bought like one high quality item. So your mindset to spending, to minimalism, to budgeting, all of these areas, it's completely changing, and you're really practicing some awesome habits that are allowing you to be more free financially, more free mentally, because you're not so worried and constantly overthinking what you're doing, okay, or where you're spending way too much money. So that's what I can see here in the Ace of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles. You'll spend a lot of time working within the next 6 months, but it's all really going to serve you, and focusing on yourself will have you feeling more confident about your abilities, and it actually is something that will make you super independent. In time to move on, know that within the next 6 months, you're moving on from relationships that have been holding you back. Okay, so even if that is like a work colleague that you used to hang out with a lot, or a friend that you used to connect with a lot, and you're realizing they're always complaining or they always have something negative to say. And the thing is that when you surround yourself with these kind of individuals, they don't always realize that actually they're dimming your light or they're bringing your energy down with them. So sometimes you will just have to create your own boundaries, make your own boundaries, so people don't drag you along with them. So people can continue their habits. You're not judging them, but at the same time, you don't want other people's habits to destroy what you've spent so much time creating and building. Now, the leap of faith shows us that within the next 6 months, you will take a big leap of faith into the unknown, but it's not really so unknown, as we are here within your reading, finding out that you are most likely also going to start another business, another stream of income that is going to be based on something that you're really good at. Okay, so a habit and a strength of yours. It could be quite literally like painting or drawing, but I just want you to know it's something creative, and it's something that you've worked on already for a very long time, maybe even your whole life, even already in school. Like you did a lot of creative things and it wasn't appreciated, but I do see here that you don't need for that time in your life to define what you're doing moving forward. As long as you are passionate about what you have to offer, that is all you need to take the leap of faith. Because the thing is, like, you've got no strings attached. This is the next card we've received for you, group 3. You're not attached to other people's opinions about you. You're not attached to how they feel about your progress that you've made creatively. If somebody doesn't like what you create or the type of business that you're looking to build, the thing is, like, you are not attaching yourself to their opinion, because you know in the end that's not what you need. That will just create a environment of self-doubt. And if there's one thing you're not allowing, group number 3, in your space, that is self-doubt. No ma'am, no sir. You have spent a lot of time healing, a lot of money as well healing. Hello, where are all of my therapy booze, okay? You know this was not a cheap journey. So the thing is, you are not allowing for anyone to cost you more time, energy, and also money, okay? Because the thing here in human is that you are remembering to forget. I know it sounds completely crazy, group number 3, but hear me out. Remembering to forget means remembering that some of the things that society has taught us, we must unlearn and forget, because it is absolutely not helping us in any way, shape, or form. Like remembering to forget that any body is inadequate. There is no bodily shape, there is nobody's face or voice that we should say is less attractive than another, okay? Someone may be less healthy, someone may be, in a sense, less cared for if they're feeling depressed and not taking care of themselves. But the fact that we shame people for what their body looks like or doesn't look like, the fact that we shame ourselves, we must remember to forget that ish, because that's really what it is. It's just ish. It is just society's conditioning to make sure that 100% of humanity feels inadequate in some way, shape, or form. Because even if you have the most accepted body or look by society standards, there will still be something about you, because you're human, that you feel is not airbrushed enough, is not perfect enough. And if you are far away from society's heteronormative European beauty standard, then you already have a whole arsenal of things to deal with since childhood that you truly need to remember to forget, because it was just designed to keep us small, and we are not doing that anymore, group number 3. That is just BS, and we're not buying into it. Next up, we've got the 5-lined skink. Delight in daring, delight in challenging society's norms, delight in wearing something that you know certain people would think, oh, well, that's pretty brave of you. Why is it courageous and brave to be ourselves? Why is it considered daring to look the way you want to look, to wear whatever you want to wear and makes you happy? The thing here within the 5-line skink is that I see within the next 6 months, you will see a 5-line skink, quite literally speaking. And you will understand when you see this 5-line skink that it is now your time to delight in your audacity. People have had audacity with you all your life. They've spoken to you in ways that show audacity from childhood. Teachers, caretakers, treating you like the adult that you were not, treating you as though nobody was looking, as though it's okay to make someone feel small. And the thing is, like, you are seeing how many people have audacity you would never have, and they use it wrongfully. No. Now you're using audacity, group number 3, to get to where you want to go. Having the audacity to walk into a room where nobody looks like you or nobody comes from the same background you come from, and owning it. And having more confidence than anybody in that room that you are the solution to every problem that they bring up. That you are somebody that brings amazing energy and ideas to the table, and you are the prize. You are the person that everybody wants on their team. That is the type of energy you are bringing to the table, and we will not settle for less than that. The 5-line skink shows here delight in the fact that you can dare other people to try to make you feel insecure ever again, and you will never give them that fulfillment anymore, because you've grown out of that. You've realized that even when you give them the fulfillment, they will not let you rest. The more quote unquote weakness you show to certain people, the more they will knock you down. And the thing, group number 3, is that you have created your fighting spirit over the past decades of your life. You have been knocked down so many times, but you still got up. You still stood proud. You still stood up for what you see as right, for the integrity that you stand behind. And you have realized that, unfortunately, with 90% of the population, when they sense some sort of weakness, they hone in on that, okay? They truly see, okay, this is an area in which we can exploit somebody. And you are not allowing that to happen to yourself or your surrounding ever again. So within the next 6 months, you are not even showing any form of softness to the outer world. You're reserving that for friends, family, lovers who have proven themselves, group number 3, but not for strangers, not anymore. You're claiming your energy. You understand here that in a world where people are just out for profits and just looking for what can serve them and their agenda, you've got to claim your energy. And despite the fact that you want to be loving, that you're an empath, that you're someone who's very soft on the inside and sometimes even on the outside, you've got to protect yourself in order to not let your energy go everywhere but to your own projects. So the next 6 months, I am happy to say we are celebrating more of a selfish time in your life where you're focused on your career, your bag, and your own growth. And the people who are not on board with that, it's fine, because at the end of the day, you just get to see their true colors. And you're remembering to forget self-doubt. You are remembering what it was as a kid when you had all of the confidence in the world before this world and this society taught you to not be confident, taught you to not accept something as simple as a compliment, taught you to always doubt yourself and second guess yourself. And the thing with this is that there is a healthy amount of it, and there is an amount that is getting in the way of your dreams and your success and your career. And group number 3, the second part, the latter amount of self-doubt and questioning yourself, is what we are eliminating within the next 6 months. There are more things that are happening for you within the next 6 months. That is a message I'm getting. So what I will do now is I will clear and cleanse the space. Leave a little cookie emoji below on the comment section to let me and others know that you're here, that you're receiving group number 3, and I'll be right back to guide you even more deeply into your 6-month prediction. Welcome back, group number 3. Let's move. Oh, okay, we already have a card that's bound to speak, bound to be part of your reading. Let's see what's happening within the next 6 months. So we've got hydrate and be still. You're taking your hydration levels up a notch. Even right now, if you're feeling dehydrated, group 3, drink, hydrate. Remind yourself of the fact that you can't focus and function at your highest if you're constantly feeling dehydrated. And a best way for you to increase your hydration level or to optimize it is to get a really cute water bottle. I love using my crystal water bottles. I have them linked below in my store. It's called BoLife. And these are filled with crystals, so when you drink water, it is infused with the energy of the crystal that you chose. So there are water bottles with crystals that re-energize you, that bring love into your life, abundance, luck, harmony, balance, whatever it is that you need more of. That is what I would pick when it comes to these crystal water bottles. But another thing here within hydrating is also to just make sure that you're listening to your body's needs, okay? Because there are certain times of the month where you need more hydration. There are certain medicines or supplements that you might be taking where you also need to hydrate. And when you hydrate, you are more likely to take your supplements, okay? So if you're one of those lazy people, group number 3, who doesn't take their supplements, pause the video now, take that iron pill, take the vitamin D, take the B12, come back and we can carry on with your reading, but do that little act of self-care right now. Next up, within Be Still, also understand that you will be laying on your yoga mat or on a yoga mat within the next 6 months, and you will have a very transformative experience. So going to a breathwork class, going to a meditation or yoga class, where you will remind yourself like, wow, this is the type of self-care that I want to do every single day in my life, not just in this class that my friend drugged me to or that I just randomly found on the internet, but actually doing this on a daily basis, making it your practice. And within 6 months, you will also make a new vision board. This may be a vision board that you're making for the upcoming calendar year, but you can make a vision board anytime. How to make a vision board is by cutting out different photographs and even painting and writing things that you want to accomplish and putting them on a board, putting them on your wall. I like to put it on like a board that you would do a painting on. That's where I like to put all of the images and the things that I want to accomplish to make my vision board. And then I like to hang it up somewhere where I'm going to see it often, constantly, and continuously throughout my days, because that helps me to focus on the goal and focus on what I would like to accomplish. So that's what we've got here in making a vision board. that you know within the next 6 months you're going to do and is going to help you to accomplish your goals. Now, the Strength card is a card that represents a beast coming into your life that you will slay and that you will have under control. This beast could be a romantic partner that has never been in a committed relationship or never been in such a serious relationship, but you are the one to change this person. You are the one that makes this person say, I want to get married, I want to be engaged, I want a family, I want children. That kind of vibe, that's what I see here within Strength, especially if you add being in a committed relationship or marriage to your vision board. Don't be surprised if you have your husband and your wife, not and, but you understand what I mean. You have your husband or your wife come into your life. I just mean, like, my channel is all inclusive. So whether you would like a husband, whether you would like a wife, we are all welcome in this space. This space is not just for cis females. So next up, we've got the World. Wow, okay, this is the most favorable card of the tarot. It's also the last card of the major arcana within the tarot. If you guys are in my How to Become a Great Tarot Reader course, you would know this because you would have learned that in my tarot course. So the World card is a card that shows fulfillment. It shows that you've got everything that you need and could dream of that has been successful in your life under your belt. You've crossed off tons of things on your bucket list, and you're just overall feeling super optimistic about your life and your existence. That's what we've got here within the World card that is coming towards you within the next 6 months. Group number 3. Okay, so the next 6 months are looking really amazing for you, and I want you to get excited for this. I want you to know that having such a positive reading about your next 6 months is something to rejoice in. And know here in the Page of Cups reversed that there will be moments in which you think back at when you doubted how capable you really are to accomplish your dreams and your goals, and you'll think, man, I should have been even more cocky and even more confident. I should have never even allowed second thoughts or doubts, second guessing is what I meant to say, to creep into my mind, and even allow that to be a part of anything that I did. And the Justice card in the tarot is actually correspondent to the zodiac sign of Libra. That's also why we've got this scale here, right? The scale is the symbol of Libra. And I want you to know within the next 6 months, something will be solved in a very diplomatic way. If you have some sort of lawsuit or something that's sitting with a lawyer, I want you to know that it will be solved in the way of diplomacy. You will hand in the necessary evidence, the necessary concerns will be written down, taken into account, and it will be solved amicably in a way that you too feel as though justice has been served. So the right thing is going to happen and transpire legally in your life within the next 6 months, and you are going to win the legal battle. I want you to know here that next up we've got the Tower card, which actually astrologically corresponds to Mars as a planet, and this is a planet of energy and assertion. It's, some people even say it's kind of an aggressive energy, and the Tower shows here that something is falling apart in order for there to be greatness. Because if you think about it, sometimes things need to come to an end or need to fall apart in order for something great to have space. So there will be a sudden change and a downfall, but I see that this is more on a general level, because we had the World here within your reading, the World, which is the most favorable card, and then the Tower shifting in shows that there will be a downfall where you live, you know, on a global scale. A leader and a type of almost something that feels like a dictatorship, or someone who is wrongfully in a position of power on a political or global scale, that's coming to an end, which is why we also have such a great time in your life, because you feel as though what's happening around you on a global scale, on a political scale, is finally starting to balance itself out again, when before the things that were happening made you lose some faith in humanity too. Okay, so it's like a restoration in your belief in humanity and a restoration also in balance and justice when it comes to the legal system. I see here within the Queen of Cups that within 6 months, you will be more attuned to your spiritual side and a holistic way of living. The Queen of Cups shows me that there can even be you holding space for somebody who needs it the most, like a motherly figure that you've never seen in a difficult position, but now you are taking over the role of being the mother, of being the matriarch, of being the carer. That's what I see within the Queen of Cups, and it's giving you this kind of vibe of stillness, this vibe of strength. And it's like you used to be the kid, or you used to be the protected one, and now you are graduating to being the person who protects others. And the Queen of Cups and the Strength card shows that you have this inner strength as well as self-control, that no matter how challenging the situation or how much you are pushed, you are always in control of your emotions, and you are in control of any situation you're put into. So within the next 6 months, don't be surprised if a lot of people from your past reach out to you as well, because they can see that you're doing amazing, and whenever you're doing well, it makes people curious, and it makes people from your past who had access to you, and you may have revoked access from them, rightfully so, but they may want to come back to you and come back into your life and regain access. And of course, it's up to you whether you allow them back in or not. Why don't we just see what Spirit has to say about that? Should you allow any old people back into your life? Group number 3, let's see. We've got ask your angels. Okay, so definitely ask your intuition about it. Ask your guides, your angels, whenever you're dealing with someone, because each individual is a little different and you have different history with every person. And be assertive. So this is a big red flag. Most people are not meant to come back into your life. Most people do not deserve a spot in your space. Most people should not be anywhere close to you anymore, especially if they showed you a side of themselves that was not kind, or that showed that they didn't value you. Be very assertive, because there will be very few that deserve to come back in. And you'll know when you found that individual. Now, group 3, this is the reading that I received for you, and I truly hope that you have enjoyed it and that you found it insightful. Feel free to let me know below in the comment section. And if you enjoyed being in this safe, healing space with me, of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It's free. That way you'll stay up to date on the tarot card readings that I post and upcoming spiritual, uplifting kind of content. And we can overall just stay connected with one another in that way. So group 3, thank you for being here, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming readings. Hello, all of my beautiful souls of group number 4. You chose the Rhodonite as well as the rune Isa and the number 1. This is a timeless tarot card reading, so your 6-month countdown starts from whenever you tune into your prediction. So it's starting for you right now. Let's look into the next 6 months of your life. So first up, we've got the rune of Isa. Let's zoom in here for you, group number 4. Isa represents ice, and it represents the fact that if you need to pull the plug on something that isn't working, you will. Because within the number 1, which is part of what you chose, which is part of the Rhodonite, you are choosing yourself. Okay, the reflection is heavy on this dice, but I hope that you can see that we've got the number 1, in fact, here when it comes to the numerology aspect of your reading. And the number 1 shows you're finally putting yourself and your needs first. So if that means that you're saying no to a relationship or no to a work opportunity, then so be it. Your mental health comes first. So within the Rhodonite, we've got a crystal that encourages you to go with your heart. The Rhodonite is a stone that comes with a palette of deep pink and black, and it gets its name from the Greek word rosy, in case you didn't know. And this stone is especially supportive to Sagittarians and anyone who feels like they hate their job. If you cannot stand your day job, if you feel like it is not allowing you to reach your highest potential, then know that this may be why you intuitively felt drawn to this stone. There's no shame in that, group number 4. It's okay. We've all been in a situation where we felt like we're not in the right room, or we are just not doing the right job or the right thing with our lives. Your situation happens to be right now, and it's cool. Group number 4, that's why we're getting into this reading, so you know precisely what's coming towards you within the next 6 months. And I like to always say this at the start of the readings: if something doesn't resonate with you, then that message was just not for you. And that's okay, group number 4. Take what serves you and leave what doesn't. That's what this reading is all about. So first up, group number 4, we've got independent. Within the next 6 months, you will become more independent than ever. And the thing is that you are being brought to a point where you don't care if you're losing out on a job opportunity or some money. Your integrity is what's most important to you. And Isa looks like the number 1. We had the number 1 numerologically for you. And guess what? The independent card also corresponds to the number 1. So don't be surprised if angel number 111 continuously shows up for you when you check the clock, when you see people's car license plates. Maybe you even live in a house with the number 111, or you frequently visit a building with house number 111. This number is going to show up as a synchronicity for you. And if it's already been showing up, know that this is another sign that this reading was meant for you to know what's coming within the next 6 months of your life and where you'll stand. So within lacking, I want you to know here that within the next 6 months, you are going to be hyper focused on the areas of your life in which you feel there is lack, because you are done with the BS. You see people winning or looking like they're winning left and right, especially on social media, especially on the news and so on TV, and you want to join the club. You understand that a lot of it isn't real, or a lot of it is kind of staged. After all, Instagram literally is a highlight reel of people's best moments. I'm just moving the cards so we can make a little more space, and moving your rune and your number so we can create a nice little setup for you. So coming back to lacking, you know that some of it is fake, but you also know some people are really living an amazing life, and they're really living a life where they're not worried about certain things that bother you or that you have been forced to worry about. And I do see here that within the next 6 months, those are the areas of your life where you are super devoted to making a change for the better, and you're not going to allow yourself to feel as though you're lacking. Within the next 6 months, you're going to become her. You're going to become the person of your dreams, the dream version of yourself, the it girl, the girl that has everything put together. And please do apply this to your own pronouns. Don't feel as though my channel is only for she. My channel is open to everybody, so I just want to make that clear here. But the main point is that you are devoted to becoming the best version of yourself, and the version of yourself that you think of and that makes your heart kind of beat faster, that makes you very proud. And you will get to that version no matter the cost. You are not allowing for anything to stop you or to get in your way, group number 4. You are devoted to your wants, needs, and your personal growth, and you will do that independently of anyone else's opinion. So you are going to be the star of the show within the next 6 months. And justice shows me that this is all about balance. You've been putting a lot of other people before you for many years, group number 4. And if you are an empath, if you're someone who really cares about how others feel, in the sense of also feeling their emotions and being able to truly empathize with someone in a compassionate way, in a way how someone else's pain can sometimes feel like it's very personal to you, like it's your own pain, like your heart breaks at the same time and in the same fashion as someone else's heart, someone who you care about, someone whom you're close to. Know that finally things are turning in the direction where You are the one that is getting the same love and care that you give to people. Okay, you are finally receiving the empathy and balance to what you've given out, because there has been an imbalance. You have given out more of yourself, of your time, of your love and your energy than you've received in the past couple months, and things need to come back into balance. The thing here within the Three of Crystals that I see for you, group number 4, is that you're walking away from things that leave you feeling imbalanced, and from situations where you can just tell, okay, these people don't get it. They're never going to understand how much effort I put in, so I'm not going to try to convince someone of my worth and my value. I'd rather move on to a space where I'm celebrated, not tolerated. Now, group number 4, I'm going to cleanse the space right now and come back to move more deeply into your reading because I feel compelled to do so. Leave a cat emoji below in the comment section if you're with me and you've chosen group number 4, and I'll be right back with you. All right, group number 4, welcome back. Let's delve more deeply into your reading about what's happening for you within the next 6 months. So we've got the red salmon, which represents the message of navigating life with determination. Salmon has to be super determined in order to get to its birthplace, or the place where it hatched, so to say, and it takes a lot of strength and energy to do so, but it's worth it. And salmon does it anyways, even though it is a dangerous path, even though it is a very hazardous, you know what I mean, group number 4, even though it is a very challenging, scary, and dangerous route to take. So I do want you to know here that navigating life with determination is what you must do within the next 6 months. Don't stop at anything to get to where you're trying to go, because just putting your head down for the next 6 months is going to have you ahead of everybody else for years to come. Next up, we've got the Eastern oyster. Now, this creature represents dealing with the dirt, okay? You will have to deal with some past trauma, so don't be surprised if within 6 months you find yourself in a therapist's office, you find yourself doing physiotherapy, you find yourself going to a spiritual retreat, doing some cleansing of your physical body, because the thing is, like, you cannot go through this life with just having different kind of buildups, both mentally as well as physically, of toxins, of mental heaviness and burden, without ever clearing it out, without ever dealing with it. That's what the Eastern oyster shows you, that within the next 6 months, you will be very focused on yourself. Some may call it selfish, but honestly, it is self-care, and it is necessary for you to turn inward to deal with the things that are stopping you from moving forward. And then within the Sea Eagle, we have the confirmation from your guides that what you're doing is you're literally just renewing your life. It is like you are renewing your lease on life within the next 6 months. You are going forward with a lot of fire, a lot of determination, very masculine energy, because you have regained your strength. Within the next 6 months, you will learn better how to clear out the old and let in new, fresh energy so you can tackle the day. So your recovery time is getting shorter and shorter within the next 6 months. This is also especially true if you work out a lot, if you consider yourself like an athlete, either as a hobby or it's something that you actually do like semi-professionally. Understand here that recovery time's shortening, and knowing precisely how much protein and how much food, fiber, and vitamins your body needs just puts you up onto a peak for performance, because to get to where you're trying to go, you will need not just determination, but also the right kind of environment and self-care. Next, we've got the house finch. Now, the house finch shows us that you are learning to know your song. Knowing your jam, knowing what you specifically need, will make you so confident that when somebody says to you, but, you know, I bought you this, or I did this for you and I, especially in romantic relationships, you know, when you're being gaslit because somebody did something nice, even though it's just like one little thing and you do nice things all the time, then you'll start to feel like, oh, well, they have a point, unless you know your song. At the end of the day, if someone isn't loving you how you need to be loved, it doesn't matter what their intention was, because the whole point in love is that you feel love. And there are different love languages. Somebody whose love language is physical touch will not feel the kind of love that they feel if they get gifts, or if they, for example, spend quality time without the physical touch. They may even feel less loved. They may even start to question the entire relationship when the way that they're being loved is nowhere close to the type of love that they have to experience in order to feel cared for. Because if it's not your love language, what can you do, group number 4? You can't force yourself to feel loved or cared for in a way that just feels wrong to you. And sometimes it's even just an excuse from people when they don't want to love you the way you need to be loved, when their intention was never to build a future with you. Some people will even gaslight you into being okay with a very kind of crummy way of loving you, just giving you like the bare minimum and make you feel as though they did so much or like they deserve so much praise for it. Meanwhile, they know that they're just giving you the bare minimum and they're trying to make you feel like that's fine. So definitely watch out for that too. Within the next 6 months, you will see people's audacity levels rising just in general, you know, even with friends and family and people whom they're dealing with romantically speaking. The Queen of Pentacles shows us here that you shouldn't share your hustle with anyone. If you've got some sort of company or income stream that you've built and a business, as much as you love someone that you're with or as much as you trust another person, now or within the next 6 months is not the time to share that with another person. It's not the time to make someone else a business partner. It's not the time for you to share what you've already created with another individual, because it is not ready. Your business isn't ready. You aren't ready. That person is not yet ready. The situation is not fully cooked. And honestly, you need to protect your assets. That's what I see here within the Queen of Pentacles, group number 4. And if you just heard some sounds, I'm just readjusting here within my chair, making myself comfortable, because honestly, if I'm not comfortable while I'm reading, just nothing comes through because I'm just focused on the discomfort, which is something that I need to work on. But for now, we will be using comfortable chairs to channel messages. So Spirit, what else do we have for group number 4 about the next 6 months? So the Fool shows us here that within the next 6 months, it's best for you to not start anything new, but to focus on what's already there. So focus on making all of the ventures that you've already semi-started or you've already put some work into, make those even better than they already are, okay? Work on what's there. I know sometimes it's a lot easier to just start something new, especially if you are an Aquarius, a Sagittarius, a Gemini, or an Aries. It can be so easy to just jump into the next thing, but you're definitely being called now to just focus on what's already there, on what you've already attempted to build. And I want to see what area of your life is especially affected using our dice. So let's see what Spirit has to say. We've got, we had the number 7. Sorry, you guys. I'm feeling a little clumsy today. I hope that you can forgive me. So let's zoom in for you. Here we go. Here's the number 7, and the 7th house is the house of marriage and partnerships. So if you are in a relationship, like a partnership, a marriage, okay, something that's pretty solid, that you would say, okay, I know this person well, it's not just a situationship, then don't leave them. Okay, work through it. Don't start something new. Try to work through some of the baggage and the trauma that you keep fighting about, where you keep kind of entering this cycle of repetition, of blaming each other for the same things, of arguing over the same things. Fix what is there. There is enough work to be done with what already exists, and you have a good thing there. That's why you're being called not to throw it away, because you have something worth working on. And I see here within the Emperor, what you have to do is plan things in the future that you can look forward to with your person. Okay, plan trips. It could be a vacation, it could be a weekend getaway, it could even be a day trip. Plan something on a random day and stick to it with your person. Have that be something that you can look forward to. The Emperor is also a card that represents leadership. Don't be afraid to be the one leading, to be the one planning something. Know here within the Emperor that we also have a card that represents fatherhood. So a fatherly figure being in your life and trying to take up more space is what I see in the Emperor. If you've had a difficult or challenging relationship with a fatherly figure in your life, and why I say fatherly figures is because some of you have stepdads. Some of you were raised by your brothers, or your brothers helped raise you at least. So that's why I'm saying fatherly figure, because they are the ones who are trying to take up more space in your life, and they're the ones that you have that connection with. It's not always your biological father. So I want you to know here that healing that relationship, rekindling that, this is something that's all happening within the next 6 months for a reason. They're teaching you how to handle your business and your money and be a little bit stronger and a little bit more business oriented when it comes to your career. And the Tower shows us here that the thing is, like, they have been through hardship and loss, and they know how challenging it can be. And they're trying to stop you from going down the same road, because they can see here that there are some areas in your life where if you just tweak them a little bit, you can definitely avoid a lot of challenges and difficulties. So any fatherly figure that is in your life within the next 6 months, cherish them, spend time with them, because they have really valuable lessons to share with you, and they simply want for you to win. Okay, so don't second guess these relationships, and try to spend as much time as you can, because the lessons that you will learn are invaluable, which means that there is no price that you can put on it that could even begin to describe the kind of lessons and connection and its worth. So here within Big Changes, know that within 6 months from now, these big and happy changes, all of this learning that you will have done, the reconnecting, the strengthening family bonds, will truly have you at peace. We've got the dove in the top left corner represented in this card from my Wild Muse Oracle deck. For any of you who are wondering where this deck is from, it's linked below. I literally only have a few copies left, and then it's going to be on pre-order because it is a limited edition deck. It is a very special one, so it will have to be reprinted. Don't say I didn't tell you so. But do know here within Big Changes that when it comes to these happy changes, when it comes to the fact that you are strengthening the bonds with fatherly figures, it actually makes you softer, because you are creating this dynamic where you know that you can be soft around these people. You know that you can allow to let your hair down, that they will protect you and they will be there for you. Now, within time to move on, I also want you to understand group number 4, that in connectivity to the sea eagle, anything that you can't breathe fire and life into, there's definitely going to be this notion in the next 6 months that it's time to move on. So if you have made some steps towards a romantic interest and they are not reciprocating, it's time to move on, okay? Another thing that I want you to also understand is that it is time to deal with the areas of yourself that you don't like and then move on. Don't let procrastination stay with you for the rest of your life. Don't be 40 and 50 thinking to yourself, if only I had dealt with this in my late teens, 20s, or 30s, just as an example. You know, there are certain things that it doesn't even matter what stage you're in life. You have to decide at some point that it's time to move on. If procrastination is literally ruining your life and your happiness, group number 4, I'm not trying to call you out, but I am kind of trying to call you out, and so is Spirit. We need to fix that. How much does it cost you to literally purchase a book? It can even be a used one. You can go to the library, okay, and get a book on how to overcome procrastination. Read 5 of them if you need to. It will be worth the amount of stress and time that you are wasting. It will be worth regaining your life. And this is just an example. If you feel like it's time to move on from partying, from drinking alcoholic beverages, or from smoking, from behavior that is destructive to you, it can also be unhealthy eating, okay? And disclaimer, this may be triggering, but an ED depressive behavior because you are depressed, because depression is a part of you. Okay, we can't change this. We can't change the fact that you have experienced an ED and now you will always find food kind of sus. You will never fully trust it. You will never fully be at peace with it. However, we can learn to live with it. However, we can help you to move on from allowing these things to be destructive in your life or to hold you back from living your fullest potential. So understand here that emotional baggage within the next 6 months is something that you're slowly going to be unpacking, but you will surely do that. And the thing about slowly and surely unpacking, working through, solving and dealing and healing is that once you know you've done it, it is going to have so much less of a grip on you. It is going to be like you've got a new life, a new existence. You'll be so proud of yourself. And even when certain parts rear their heads again, you won't be as intimidated because you already know how to deal with these things. You've already done it. You've already spent time dealing and healing and understanding yourself. And you've maybe even put a mechanism in place that allows you to easily overcome emotional baggage that may come back up. Next up, within beauty sleep, the next 6 months, you're going to sleep a lot, group number 4. And if you have been needing beauty sleep, if you have been in need of some good old rest, and trust me, I've been there, know that these next 6 months are going to be so helpful in that. And some of us, we think we're like depressed or we have anxiety or we just have something that's wrong with us mentally, but actually what we just need is sleep. What we just need is rest. And the current economic climate, the current way in which our lives are led or in which we're being forced to lead our lives, where it's just all the time working, then we're expected to somehow make it to the gym and have a social life and post fun things on social media or things that look very wow and will make other people think that we're living our best lives or make other people think a certain way about us, be envious or think, oh, they've really got their life together. Like, who has time to work like crazy, to go to the gym, to eat healthily? You also need to purchase those foods to eat healthily. You need to prepare them. Then you need to clean your home. You need to look put together. You need to do all of these beauty treatments at home, maybe even in doctors' offices. You need to get surgical, non-surgical procedures. Just make sure that you look attractive. Then you also have to have a social life. You have to be healthy. You need to go out on walks and runs and to the gym and somehow go on dates or date or have a relationship and have friends. Also have goals, dreams, aspirations, travel the world. I mean, even just thinking about it makes me dizzy, group number 4. Even just thinking about it, I am stressed out for us. Okay, the fact that this is what is expected of us. That is nuts. And sometimes you just need to like lean back and remind yourself, you don't have to do every single thing on this list. You don't have to conform to the point where you literally aren't even getting enough sleep to keep up with your basic human needs. It is time for you to put your sleep and your rest first. It is time for you to forget about everything else, at least for a while, and deal with the baggage that you have one thing at a time. If you feel very uncomfortable when you leave the house not looking super put together or wearing makeup or with your hair done or whatever, ask yourself, what is the reason? Start working on these things bit for bit. And another thing that I see here within 6 months from now is also spending time by a coast, spending time in a place where there are bodies of water, where you can look at fish, where you can play with tadpoles, where you can look at the little clams and shells and everything around. And that will be a time out for you. That will be a nice little restful getaway for you. And I want you to know here that when it comes to planning that, don't be afraid to take the lead and also invite other people. This doesn't have to be a solo vacation, all right? And group number 4, I also want you to remember the fact that we had the number 7, which is the number of relationships, marriages. The number 7 is definitely also a number of working on yourself. So if you are in a difficult spot in a relationship, okay, in a connection with another human being, rather than focusing on what you can do or how you can maneuver so they change certain behaviors, ask yourself what you can do to work on yourself that will help the situation. And ask them to do the same as well. Tell them to work on themselves and you will work on yourself. and then you can reconvene again and actually find that when you are focused on yourself, you don't really have time to bother with what someone else is doing that upsets you or that you don't like, because you also understand the feeling of upset, not to like victim blame. Okay, it's not that deep, but that is my problem. That is our problem. That is your problem, group number 4. If something makes you upset, it is not the thing that makes you upset whose problem it is. It is your problem, because that thing can continue to upset you till the end of your life. And if you don't get your emotions under control, then you will always have that issue. Because let's assume that thing never stops upsetting you. Will you now be bothered for the rest of your life? Group number 4, I think we know the answer is no. We're not going to let that happen. So remind yourself here that you have control, and to work on your responses and your viewpoint for your benefit. That's a gift you give to yourself. So group number 4, this is the reading that we've received for you, and I hope that you've enjoyed it and found it insightful. Don't forget to leave a lightning emoji below in the comment section to let me and others know that you were here, that you received your reading, and you were part of group 4. If you made it all the way to the end, we clearly vibe with one another. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel to never miss another reading, and to never miss out on the safe space again whenever you need it. Now, group 4, know that I'm sending you so much love, and I can't wait to connect with you during one of my upcoming readings.